You guys already know the Seven Deadly Sins has their own top tier wizard of the group. She's like the highest of the highest when it comes to wizards in this universe. In a universe where magic is everything, of course she's going to be a top tier. Almost the general consensus of everybody's power is evolved around some type of magic, but she's like the queen of it. Merlin from the Seven Deadly Sins, how strong is she though? Right off gate, you guys know how in my previous magician type videos about Marvel DC characters, they're some of the most versatile characters of all time. Merlin is no exception to being super versatile, with the sheer number of different things she can use against you. She has standard gear, or one could say sacred treasure, something every character has. It allows them to draw out their magical power better. Hers is so simple. It's kind of like a crystal ball type of orb type of thing. Witchy type stuff. Crystal balls are something every magic user uses, right? Well, maybe not every single one, but you get it. It's like a common wizard trope in fiction, you know? It's great for spying, just like any form of media. Since magic is one of those things that have so much depth, knowledge is power when it comes to magic because you have to read different books to learn different incantations, blah, blah, blah. That's why you see magicians in other forms of media reading in libraries and stuff to learn more. Merlin is very knowledgeable. If her body itself is turned into stone, she can transfer her soul so she won't actually die if she is petrified by a hex or something. So yeah, her sacred treasure comes in handy to make an illusion to talk to her actual body when her body's not really there. This also helps little slice of life things. Physicality isn't something she specializes in, but she doesn't really need it due to her level of magical power anyway. But as a base, she should be able to react to things that are moving lightning fast, considering that beings like this can. Because when Merlin fought this same being, it's implied she's way faster when it comes to reflexes, saying she had teleportation magic faster than her own. So Merlin has to be pretty quick, reflex-wise, I would think, right? Let's get on to her versatility. One of the most important things about her is her time manipulation type of abilities. This is one of the reasons why she's so scary to fight. You guys know how time is an inevitability for most people, and no matter what, time is going to pass on you no matter how you look at it. Eventually, it's inevitability, right? Well, Merlin simply said no to this. You can't really take years off of Merlin's life because when it comes to time, due to her quest for knowledge, knowing that time will never be long enough to learn everything she wanted to, she said, why don't I just stop my own time on my own body? Everybody's shocked, like, how is that even possible? How do you, it takes too much magic power to bend the laws of physics to that level. That's impossible. Well, thanks to her magic power known as infinity, this is what makes it possible. This is what makes her such a deadly magician because of her raw stamina. Her magic power is literally unlimited stamina. Stated, no matter how powerful a magic is, all I need to do is invoke it just once. And I can keep flames burning, ice frozen, time stopped for eternity, as long as I myself do not release the spell, or somebody else that's on her level does absolute cancel or something on the spell. There was a being to where if somebody broke the commandment of killing, thou shalt not kill, they will get their time stolen away until they crumble to dust. You can't take Merlin's time away because she stopped time on herself for eternity. So most people would age into dust and to get their time taken away. This line right here is going to keep on going forever, so she ain't going to never crumble to dust that way. You know, when it comes to trying to age her, it just ain't going to work. On top of being able to stop time on herself, she can do spells that actually are even more busted technically, like being able to actually stop time in a specific area, but it takes some time to cast this spell. The spell of the chrono coffin, she's trying to freeze time within the cocoon. This is definitely a mightier spell to be able to actually freeze time in a specific area itself. Even angel-like beings are surprised about her being able to actually freeze time. She has other spells just from wizardry, like the Exterminate Ray, aka one could say blast power. So she can just blast you the old-fashioned way. The most insane thing is her casting this spell called Double Impact, which can make her blast power even more scarier because thanks to her magic power of literally infinite stamina, infinity, it can just keep on going without them even knowing that it's still going on when they think they already tanked the attack when they really didn't. These beings that are attacking, she can not only react to them with a snap, they are also unaware of danger she has already caused them from an attack that she did earlier. And they think they just ate that same attack. That attack is still going on without them even knowing it. Her unique magic power of infinite stamina, she can infinitely increase her blast power to her spells she's already cast to make her spells even stronger than they are. When you can enchant your spells with the power of literal infinite stamina and empower your beams of energy to get stronger exponentially, that just seems like that's cheating. When she gets in a beam struggle with beings that have similar magic to her with blast power, even if they have a lot more raw power thanks to her busted power of infinity, gradually make her beam stronger by making it enchanted with her special magical power that's exclusive to her to make the blast bigger. But these particular demons they're facing are ridiculously high tier, and they apparently have no weaknesses. Suddenly something happens. They both took damage. If they have no weaknesses, Merlin simply said, I will give them a weakness. These being claims that's impossible. Even when beings think she's bluffing, she's not bluffing. They get attacked again out of nowhere. They don't even know where the attack came from. She didn't give us any sign that she was going to attack. Their injuries are getting worse. Yeah. It's that attack double impact I showed you 2 seconds ago. It's still being casted. The magic she unleashed shortly after the start of their fight. You remember that magic that disappointed you? The attack that they tanked, double impact? They thought the 8th attack and the attack was done for and they didn't have to worry about it no more. She released 4 classical chemical elements, earth, fire, water, and air, and the various attributes of magic associated with them. And I figured out which attribute you were each least resilient against. Chandler is lightning, and Kusek is wind. She found out their weaknesses. Well, not necessarily weaknesses, but the one they're least resilient to, which is technically still weaknesses, I guess. She casted a magic that decreased your resilience to said attributes. And then there was the added bonus that each time you took a hit from my infinity magic, your resilience further continued to decrease. So he tried to absolute cancel that spell, but he got attacked so hard it damaged him yet again. She made the air alive with countless undetectable lightning and wind magic set to automatically attack in every response to your every move and chant. It automatically attacks if they move. And they will continue to spawn forth from her limitless stamina type of magic, so it will keep on doing it until you're dead. She might not be able to one-shot nobody on this show when it comes to her blast power, but over time, thanks to her limitless stamina, she can become crazy powerful. Yeah, to find a weakness for you. She said she just threw this together, bruh. And she can blast with wind, or whirlwind, the name of the attack, to suck you in. Then even, this is a way of containment, seal you up, or shrink you up that way. I'm assuming if it has the power to actually reel you in, obviously to seal you up. Very tricky maneuver. In this occasion, she made a barrier to protect against a monster that's mountain size, but it only lasted temporarily. Obviously, this isn't the perfect cube ability that's better. On very rare occasions does the perfect cube actually break. Even commandment beings like Galland, who have mountain shattering power with his swinging force to cut mountains and have from the aftershock of the blow. She has perfect cube spells like this that can reflect attacks like this. This being was going to self-destruct and destroy the whole kingdom of Leonotis, but yeah, she was confident it wasn't going to destroy Meliodas or the perfect cube, so it makes sense to the lore. She's a miraculous child prodigy. She's a being to where both the demon underworld and the heavens wanted the child offered to them. She negotiated with the gods of the universe to get her own gifts of her liking. The supreme deity on the other side gave her the ability to notify any and all manner of dark curses and commandments. Then the Demon King gave her detailed information on all the secret arts and mysteries of the underworld and divine protection that could defend against the brainwashing of the goddesses. So she's resistant to being brainwashed. She's resistant to curses and stuff of that such when it comes to defense, when it comes to magic. One can basically say she's hex resistant. So all the hexes she can use against you, that doesn't necessarily mean you can use it against her. No, you're not brainwashing her. Possessing, not going to cut it. You wouldn't be a wizard if she didn't have some sort of telekinesis. What wizard doesn't have telekinesis or can fly and float, right? Not to mention she can produce her own fire attacks. Firestorm. Too bad we didn't see Merlin use her water blast in like the last arc as much though. We know technically she would never fight Escanor. If she had to fight him, this was what she would use when it comes to being able to lift up beings that are giant too. Water dragon style. She can just produce making dragons made of water if she wishes. Ice type spells that will stay frozen forever thanks to her magical power of literally infinite stamina, infinity, until she dispels it, until she decides to let it go. It'll stay frozen and won't drop in temperature. She's very hexy to the point where she was even able to separate Meliodas' strength at the very beginning of the series, which is why Meliodas was even weakened in the first place. It's implied that his guard needed to be down though. She can power amplify you. She's the perfect person to locate things. She can make constructs of light, the light manipulation. She has the ability to cancel out any spell. This ability is called the absolute cancel. Things that are pretty tough to break, like the perfect cube. It's hard to break things like this with blunt force. She can use her absolute cancel to just cancel it and get in that way. When people have spells on them that messes up their senses, she can cancel that spell so where they can get their senses back again. Did you know thanks to her concoctions and stuff, she's the reason why Diane can even be small, the giant of the 7 Deadly Sins group. Then she can absolute cancel it to where she gets big again where the magic doesn't affect her no more. And when it comes to speed, there's no really need for her having speed because her teleportation is busted. Just like when an attack is coming towards them, she can teleport beings near it to counter it Merlin, when she's getting sucked in, one can say blitz, depending on how you look at it, she can just keep teleporting over and over again in an indefinite amount of times so she can just stay away. She has over hundreds of magical items she can use, not just spells. One of them being the Cursed Engagement Ring. It will control you. If you, for any reason, utilize your magic on Lord blah blah blah, curse will activate and inflict terrible suffering and bruises which will run through your entire body. Don't let her slip this ring on you. Every time the curse is activated, the bruises will continue to spread. Eventually, they'll cover your entire body and take your life. So basically, she had a backup plan for if her student was to go crazy, and she has a way to take him out. She technically has her own scouter, like from Dragon Ball Z, to tell someone's overall power level in general so she can know what she's facing up against. The different attributes like strength, magic power, blah, blah, blah. She has magical items to where if you want to lose weight in the blink of an eye, the monster block is the thing for you. The more intake, the more calories it consumes. Another one of Merlin's magical items that makes you peaceful so your sadistic tendencies don't come out. She has pills that shrink whoever eats it, just like the end. She altered a bug from hell to eat sickness instead of actually eating organs. Talking about one heck of a medicine. Like the needle of humanification to give you a literal human body. She has heat forks called the Sacred Treasure that she gave the hawk, being one of the sacred treasure. A laxative type candy. She has Goddess Ember to seal demonic beings. You can break out if you're strong enough though. This Ember is how she sealed Meliodas' power up. She got a lot of tricks. She could technically store her spells in an incantation orb so she can just use it for later and just throw it like a ball instead of actually having to cast it. And she created the incantation orb in general so other people can kind of use magical type stuff, even if they're not that accustomed to magic. She made these magical glasses for Escanor to where even in the daytime he can stay in his shrimpy small form, but when he takes it off he gets back crazy again. She's even nice enough to make self-regenerating clothing to where if they get damaged during battle or something, they automatically regenerate. Merlin can use elements of electricity like the shock stinger. When she was facing off against the Demon King along with the other sins, she has this limit breaker. It allows her and her teammates to break their limits, but the contrast is that they'll be sleeping for a week, making everybody and her overflow with energy. Literally fighting one of the gods of the universe fused with Britannia itself, the land. All the sins were doing all their powers and attacks at the same time. And she literally did power conversion unified, joining all their attacks into one ball together. So yeah, you want her on your team. Considering in the final arc, she's considered one of the 6 strongest beings on Earth itself, fighting these high-end demon entities with hacks mixed with her infinity, mixed with her raw blast power, affecting these high-end entities. It's safe to say there's enough evidence based on the fact that even characters that are way weaker than these characters she's beam struggling with, like Meliodas when he's not even transformed at the beginning of the series when his powers are like cut off from him. This right here is a great example of how Meliodas is not even using a sacred treasure or a magical item that enhances his power. This is when his power was sealed off and he's nowhere near his full power. He's able to still slice a mountain in half with a random twig with just swiping his arm. So it's safe to say Merlin, because at this point in the series, she's definitely stronger than this version of Meliodas, blast an island away. And this should be easy, might I add. But at the end of the day, all of this could be just me. How strong do you think Merlin is? Is she one of the most overpowered mages in anime? I think so. Her raw power is kind of irrelevant because of all the different tricks she can do to amplify himself up, and not to mention limitless stamina, and not to mention turning your attacks against you. But that's none of my business. Making your own weaknesses, bruh, what? But that could be just me. She's one of the most versatile characters in the entire show, and she's somebody that you want to have on your team. She can amplify you in the heat of battle, make you better, then combine all of our attacks together into one attack, unify. But I also got to shout everybody out that has donated to the channel. It helps out a lot. Respect to Merlin. She's mighty. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.